Okay, where are we up to? Likutei Moharan, Torah Ches, Ois Tes. Vehine mevoyer l'mayla, ki haruach hachayim hu b'Torah. Ruach hachayim, where do we find the ruach of life in the Torah? Bechinas beruach halakim merechepes al panayim moim kana, like it says, that Hashem's ruach is hovering over the water, and mayim is Torah. Balkaim b'Mitzrayim shekoid kabbalas Torah. Mitzrayim was before Kabbalas Torah. They didn't have where to take that ruach. That's why it says the name of Mekoitze Ruach. They didn't have. They're working so hard, and it also says Mekoitze Ruach, that it was a shortness of breath. They didn't have from where to take the real Ruach HaChaim. Shu beginnes Erech HaPayim. That's the beginnings of Erech HaPayim, Shemarech Ruche Kanal, which is prolonging your breath. It's a longer breath. That's why it says Mekoitze Ruach, which is the opposite of Erech HaPayim, which is patience. Patience. Someone that has patience has a longer breath. Someone that doesn't have patience has a short breath. Short, as we explained before, that when someone is running, if someone is constantly in a rush, and someone is annoyed, or the right word for it would be someone that's I don't have the right word for it, but anyone that's not in a state of mind in a very relaxed state of mind, mentally, physically. If you are in that state of mind, you can have patience. And as Reb Leibish told me, that the difference between Moichen de Katnes and Moichen de Gadlus, that Moichen de Katnes is Achzarius and Moichen de Gadlus is Rachmanis. Like some people think, sometimes you do certain things to people, then you think it's Rahmanas, but really it's enabling in them. It's Achzarius. In the end of the day, you're not really doing the right thing. You think you're doing the right thing because you're Moichem de Katnes, but really it's like having Rahmanas on Hamas, on Gaza. That's Moichem de Katnes. Moichem de Gadlus is real Rahmanas, is taking care of the problem. So Koitze Riach is Moichem de Katnes. Erech HaPayim is Moichem de Gadlus. Shehu bechinas Ruach HaChaim. That's the Ruach HaChaim. Shemamshichen al ha'enocha. That is the Ruach HaChaim that we draw down through that Yiddish krechts lahashlem ha'chesaron kanal, to fulfill the lack, any lack that we have. Ki Ruach HaChaim ushleim es ha'chesaron kanal. Ruach HaChaim fills the lack. And Hashem will give you whatever your heart desires. And when your heart wants something, there's a lack over there. It says harchev picha v'malei, open your mouth wide. Shenismala hachasaron, v'zebechinas melopim. Meloi pum. Melopim is the vav with a dot, which is one of the nakudas, which means meloi pum, a full mouth. The Indian, he's going to explain what the melopim is. Melopim hu yud vav, right? It's a vav with a dot on the side of the vav, and that's a yud. That's considered the numerical value of a yud, which is 10. V'hu bechinas yud mine defikin. That's the 10. It corresponds to 10 the types of pulse. When we have a pulse, actual pulse, a physical pulse, and that's connected yud adibros. That pulse is correspondent against the aseres adibros. V'hadoifek, we know that a pulse happens through the ruach, to breathing in through the whole system. Alkein heim asara mi defikin connected asara dibros. The 10 different types of pulse is against the aseres adibros. Ki ruach shehu hadoifek hu b'Torah. The ruach that has a pulse, that comes from the Torah, because we see that the whole ruach HaChaim comes from the Torah. The vav from the melopim, that's we know that a vav is always something that draws down, that connects from top to bottom or even side to side. A vav is always a connector. So the vav brings down the ruach. Behind the malupim, that's maloi pum, which is a full mouth. That is how do you get that? Through bringing in the ruach, the vav, from the malupim, and the yud in the malupim, which is the 10 different pulses, which is the Seres HaDibros, which is the Torah. That when you bring that in, that's going to fill the lack. And this is why it says, Anoichi Hashem Elokecha al Malchei Eretz Mitzrayim, the Kibla Torah Shesham Ruach. We accepted the Torah, and the Ruach we find in the Torah. V'azai daike, only after we accept the Torah, Harchef Picha V'Maleu, B'chinas Melop Kanal, B'chinas Shleim B'Chasor. Only after that, we will be filled up with whatever lack we have. I just reminded that song that what's his name? How are you? How are you? What's his name? The guy.
Joey Newcomb.
Yeah, Joey Newcomb. He has that niggan. Asked my Rebbe what the avoid is, right? And he says the avoid is to learn Torah. That's what he said, and that's what Reb Nachman says. I think they agree. After Hashem took us out of Mitzrayim, when he took us out, then we don't have the shortness of breath. We don't have the koitze ruach, because we already have the Torah. That's why we have the ruach. That's, by the way, you're going to see it all the time that in the Likutei Moharan, Reb Nachman repeats himself a bunch of times, and sometimes even 4 times in one Torah. And Reb Nosson writes that the reason why he repeats himself because he wants it to go into our brain. And when you say it once, it's not going to go in twice, 3 times. Sometimes you'll see the same message 4 times within 10 lines, and there's a reason for it. My
wife does the same thing. My wife does the same thing.
She's right. She's right. Okay, and us daika harchef picha v'malei. You know, we all know that, we don't listen. Harchef picha v'malei bechinas shleimus hachesarim. Bechinas meloi pum. Bechinas yemalei Hashem kol mishal hasechu. That Hashem will fulfill all of our needs. Okay, nisker. That's why we're masker Yitzias Mitzrayim. Parshas Tzitzis. And the same Parshas Tzitzis we talk about Mitzrayim. Tzitzis, like we said before, in the beginning of this Torah, Bechinas Ruach HaChaim. Tzitzis is brings Ruach HaChaim. Bechinas Me'ar Baruchus Kanal. So that's why he combines Mitzrayim, Tzitzis, the Ruach HaChaim, the 4 corners. Everything is combined together in order to help us tap into that Ruach HaChaim. Gam Diber Az. At the time that Reb Nachman gave this lesson, he also spoke about Shteim Eser Shoros Hayoim, 12 hours in the day, Shteim Eser Shoros Halayim, 12 hours in the night. Sheyesh behem Shnei Mosa Tzirufei Havaya. These 12 hours have 12 different tzirufim, combinations of Hashem's name. Every hour there's a different tziruf. Each hour gets divided in 1,080 parts. Tov Tov Reish Pei Chalakim. V'chol chelik mitov Tov Reish Pei Chalakim yesh boi gam tziruf Hashem. Each part of the 1,080 parts also have a tziruf Hashem. All this, which if we get into it, we can talk about it for hours, what exactly he meant. But all this is the beginners of Ruach HaChaim, the Ruach HaChaim that we have constantly a pulse in our heart. I remember Blazer Brody used to say that his heart, when you put a mic to his heart, you'll hear Yud K, Vav K, Yud K, Vav K. That's what he means with the pulse. But Lois the Chisi Lishma Reb Nosson says this, but Lois the Chisi Lishmoya Beir in Yazeh Heitev. I did not have this chus to listen to this whole concept good. Gam shechachti k'tzas mzeh. I also forgotten some details. But it says, "Hamaskilim yovinu." Those with wisdom in these matters will understand what Reb Nachman spoke about. And there's mefarshim and biorim, anyone that, every Breslover mashpia already came out with perushim on what Reb Nachman is saying with this 1,080. Every hour is split up in different parts, and each part is split up into more, and they break it apart. It's a whole thing, not the Kabbalah, but we're simpletons of L'chaim.